Early October 2024 with the Lovelocks of Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails. And as I always say, they will be rough cut. So this is where we live. 22 Armitage Court in Sunninghill. Warning signs about fierce guard cats. This place down here was known as Robin's Corner a few years ago, where GPS was tested from the late 1980s. This spot here, and yeah, that was the garden sculpture that June gave me for a birthday present a few years ago now. And here's the oak tree that sprung up for an acorn, with the accommodation for an owl that's never been taken up. Cats have checked it out, those guard cats. You'll see them in due course. Here's the robot boat. Now what I'm doing is shooting this clip on, if I get the date right, Thursday the 11th of October, and then using what clips I can to save repeating the work. So one of the most important topics for some people is Snoopy's robot boat to try and cross the Atlantic. That's Snoopy. And the recent photo trails, which are in the middle of this video, has some of the latest thing, which is this bright idea of, instead of just a couple of resistors, in order to limit power drain by the servo that drives the rudder, you'll see the rudder twitching every now and again. Anyhow, the nitty gritty is in there, but basically when the power runs too low, typically overnight when there's no sun, because these are solar powered, then the servo, because of the design of the servo, tends to go hard over, and there are stops. Then it stalls against the stops and drains a lot more power, and that runs the batteries much lower than they would have done. Anyhow, there's me talking and talking, and often photos and other stuff is more important. So you'll see the latest on that, which is that I'm hoping for help on the bit of electronics that can be inserted just like this, but a little box of something there. Now what I'll do is I'll run into several other clips, shot some of them fairly recently, but one thing I will point out, because there is some more news in the photo trails, and in fact it's gone up on one of the pages already. It's on my website, gpss.co.uk. There was a charity, was a business, you see, business many years ago, as is quite clear if you look at it, but now it's just charitable causes and hobbies like the robot boat. And while we're on the subject, this is June's car, but as many people know, I'm not been able to drive due to the DVLA saying I mustn't drive, and there is an update on that. It's already gone up on 1 or 2 pages, but it's covered in the photo trail. So there's a bit of news there, but that won't be of any real interest to many people. Right, there's most of what follows is pretty much the same as other clips that I'll use, but what is relatively new is that we've been putting peanuts out for some time, and I thought, I found out recently from the closed circuit TV that the pigeons and other birds are gobbling away all the peanuts, and so other wildlife like foxes, squirrels, deer, badgers, they're all been seen to go for them. They gobbled them all up. So I thought, no, encourage the birds to go for stuff on the bird feeders like that one there, but not go down there, because well, they're also at risk to things like pussycats, and there's a record of them. So the reason I pause back here is you're now going to see, and what I've got to do is change the recording that's on there, but anybody who comes to the door or goes down,
smile for the cameras. You can read the warning notices if you wish. Yes, bit of a joke, but maybe not.
yeah, much too long a message, also the wrong sort of thing. So what I've seen so far, and I haven't had a chance to check it, is,
For the cameras,
yeah, it keeps on going on.
you can read them.
That could be a much shorter recording, like, or whatever, just enough to scare something like a bird. But most of the foxes, from the way I've seen they've reacted to other things, it'd be a case of right, there's me talking. The only reason I did that clip here was to show you that, because it's a bit different. So what I'm going to try and do now is go back up to about roughly where I started a few days ago, and yeah, it's all a matter of minimising work, really, isn't it? So, oh, that's the QR code, by the way, to go to the Snoopy page. Right, now what I'll probably do here is cut into clips of video, that most of which were shot within the last few days, and so one of them shows you what's going on inside Snoopy's robot boat. Beware guard cat on patrol. Well, this one is Bentley. He's the senior guard cat, and he's been training, yes, that's right, Bentley. He's been training Toady since Toady was an infant. Yes, I may as well put these out as well. Armed mice. You'll see lots of things where I'm making jokes, but you can never be sure whether they're true or not. Right. Hello, Toady. Have you got any opinions? You may want to help testing of the boat. Now, just for this filming, I took the lid off, the electronics and other bits and pieces, and put on this text-to-speech unit, and this was just for shooting this clip, and hopefully we won't get any rain in the next few minutes. So what I'll do is I'll switch on this, and it'll go through a startup of waggling the rudder first of all, and then speaking through the text-to-speech.
Snoopy's PX28X2 GPS only autopilot. Software version Rorio. Last update 6th of December 2017.
6th of December 2017.
9:44. 45 seconds. Target Alpha. 11 kilometers. At 349 degrees. GPS course 147. Speed 0.0 knots. Left 158.
Yes. The software hasn't been changed all these years. The main thing I've been doing, and it's shown the nitty gritty in the photo trails, is trying to find out.
8 seconds. Target Alpha. 11
Yes, it's going on a bit interrupting, isn't it? Let me just switch it off for this,
102.
and I'll unplug the text-to-speech, which is only used for, and that's the text-to-speech cat. Yeah, I'll switch it on now. Oh, there's a bit of wildlife there. Look, bee coming. Hello, Toady. You want to help with this? You can't hold the camera for me, can you? What are you looking at now? Something or other. Yes. Yes, what I've been spending time on is these batteries here. If you do the simple arithmetic, they should be good without the solar panels working at all, in other words completely covered. Those should be capable of running the power, the total electronic system for probably 5 or 6 days at least. So it's not able to do that, and that's what I've been spending the time over the last few weeks, and of course in the process finding lots of silly mistakes, badly soldered joints or bad wiring, whatever. And of course the other important thing is occasionally it's the components that need fixing, and it's all done by measurement. Right, loads and loads of talking, so let's make sure that's in the dry. Right, that'll do. I'll come back and do that properly. I'll take that with me as well. Right, so yeah, I'll leave. Toadie, keep an eye on the boat, won't you? Yes, thought you would. Now here's another clip shot on the Friday and this is June's car, that's Samantha's car, and yes, promotion of a website that was a business many years ago, gpss.co.uk, and it's now hobbies like the robot boat and charitable causes. Now, I've not been able to drive for ages now because of the driver vehicle licensing agency, and as it happens today, a letter came in again. So that photo trail for earlier today, which is the last photo trail, has some of the detail about that. Anyhow, enough of that. Down here, by the way, the women will be going off to tennis for the second time today. Yeah, the Catforts, Samantha's car, the camper, and before I go into the house I have to point out some warning signs. But first of all, the camper is what was used to take Snoopy's robot boat down to the coast for the last attempt on the Atlantic, and it's got battle damage which I would not want to be removed. Battle damage, June said Robin did it, Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. Yes, other things here like the flatulent fairy that was yes, related to this, wasn't ready in time for Christmas to put up on one of the trees. Bird feed and stuff everywhere, including the bird feeder here, and I'll need to top that up soon. That's getting low. Yes, a lot of photographs, you see wildlife coming for that. And before I go into the house, I've got to point out some warning signs for health and safety reason. And what I have to add now, because people say, oh, you daren't say that, everything is of course just a joke, right? So first of all, yes, signs like this: closed circuit TV, hidden cameras inside and outside this house, sound and video is monitored in local houses and everywhere. There's one camera there. No trespassing, violators will be shot, survivors will be shot again. And across here, that's my study in there, and it says do not disturb, I'm disturbed enough already. In fact, there's another camera there. And this sign, one thing that I've been curious about is the automatic subtitles with translation, and the word NATO comes up differently for some reason. Don't know why that is, but doesn't matter. Perhaps this one will be different. Anyhow, there's this warning sign here. That is quite important because it's not just cameras. Home of mad ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock, beware of web cameras and water squirters loaded with water, paint, acid, DNA tracer or nerve agent. Robin would not be mad enough to test these, or would he? Just a joke, of course. Right, I think that's about it. That's the Ring camera, which is also picking up video and sound instead of it going up on the door. I think those are most of the toys. Yes, so now I think we're risk going in. And so coming in, there's one of the tennis things, and yeah, so just going into the kitchen now, and this is the immaculate kitchen with all the work I did with the temporary mirrors and things. And here's Samantha and June practically ready to go off to tennis.
Nick Cross has been forced to pull out a script.
So they'll be off soon. And yeah, just a quick look. This is the games room, and it has got particularly untidy recently. I say recently, for ages. because of work on the robot boat. We get into the stage where the snooker table might have been cleared. But again, for those into property maintenance, gardening work outside is easy. All this stuff has to be put in the right place and decide what stuff is going to be given away or thrown away. Yeah, peanuts. We get through a lot of those. And right, just going outside here now. As I say, I don't know, I might insert other clips in various places. Yes, there's the pond, drop down low. That's a job to be done, mostly for the winter months. That's the patio area, the barbecue there. You'll see all these things on the photo trails. So let's go into those long photo trails now. Friday the 4th of October 2024, starting with the summary of the photos shot. Toadie, that is, prowling around near the robot boat. Now, of course, this photo trail that follows only goes up until middle of the afternoon, but yes, involved in checking voltages on the boat. That's a activity that's been going on for ages now, and the power system basically is good. And that was taken at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or a little bit after. And yes, the sun is starting to come out more that day, and everything's working as it should. And I did a photo tour of the garden. Now this is earlier, and I did that photo tour. And yes, checking all sorts of things. So the photo tour give you a flavour of what the garden was like today, Friday the 4th of October. And yes, inside the laboratory and then the workshop area, snapshot, all work to be done. And then the letter that arrived from the DVLA. And yes, yeah, I must admit, it caused a bit of amusement, even though it's very inconvenient to say the least. And yes, so there's relevant information up on my website that's been there for years now, and occasionally I make an update to it. And of course the key thing is contacting the right people. Yes, put in the commentary on the day before, that was yesterday, June watching tennis from China, me relaxing with a cornet, them off for their first game of tennis, I think that was. It's easy to get confused. They might be getting ready for the second game of tennis today. Yeah, so that's the end of the summary. So now in the photos, the order they were shot, starting with a tour. Yeah, so that was whatever time that was, 11:45 by the look of it. Yeah, checking the sundial. I noticed a slightly to shift it a fraction. That was the small reference sundial. And yes, and of course the usual problem of things screen the sun, and that's been an activity going on for some time now, a little project. Yes, everything very overgrown, so the grass needs cutting. One of the easy jobs of property maintenance. But a snapshot shows you what state it's in today. And yeah, going a bit further down the garden, and I must admit, with a bit of simple work like cutting grass and cutting back stuff, the garden's better than it has been for decades. Yeah, lots of little details, extra things added and modifications. Yeah, see how everything's overgrown? Yeah, terrifically. Well, you get that in the other photo trails as well. Yes, that's just snaps around the garden. There's the gunnerer, only one that survived. There's the old boat seat. Found a place to stick that. I'm often told where to stick things. And yeah, that's the third pond, or the temporary pond for the bog garden. And that hawthorn tree didn't come up, but that one has. Yeah, that's been mentioned before. Hawthorn trees were a very good idea from June, and just can be unlucky on whether they take due to competition from other things. Yeah, so that's down the far end of the garden, yeah, the compost heaps, and round, yeah, looking up now, yeah, you see lovely blue sky. So we did get a bit of sun, which we haven't had for days, and of course that affected the robot boat. There's the junk heap, there's the shed, and not many tools there. I like the idea of them all being out in the open so anybody could see where they are, which is much easier than knowing that something is tucked away. Yes, into the laboratory just for a few pictures. That's going to be tidied up sometime. Put things in the right place and know which ones to throw away or give away. Working my way round to the workshop area. Yes, Grumpy Old Men's Club sign there. And yeah, putting stuff in familiar places for myself at least. But anybody else could say, oh yeah, we've seen the photo trail before, so we know where things are going to be or where to look. Yeah, so still spare space to put extra things, and of course some stuff will get thrown away or moved to make it a little clearer. So that's into the workshop area. Snapshot as of today. That was into October, and yes, still taking a few shots around the back, looking through, and now I'm working my way back out. So I'm coming away from the workshop area out into the main part of the back garden, and then looking up towards the telescope and where people sometimes like to sit, and just recalled how overgrown stuff is. Now I'm working my way round past the greenhouse, that's June's property, that, and past the fig tree and past the back door, and where we keep things, at least where we know where they have to be. And of course that's where the main water tap comes out to different things, and where stuff is stored temporarily, around to where the dustbins are, behind that little hide that I made some time ago. And there's Toady. Hello Toady, he's prowling around. Working my way round to the front door, and oh yes, that's the boat testing pond, and there's the battle damage on the camper that you would have seen in the introduction. And there's the boat, and there's Toady prowling up, probably after some unfortunate mouse or bird or something. But then again, it might be to attack some intruder, you don't know. And yeah, showing little patches. So there's a camera there with a mirror so that you can see round the corner, and that little patch there, there's certainly work needed to be done there when there's time for somebody to do it. I can't do everything. In fact, I can do very little, but I enjoy overseeing work. That's what I've done most of my life. Right, there's just a record of this moss starting to come up there. Right, back to the front door, and the signs that you would have seen. Yes, peanut feeders, warning signs. Yes, into the house again. Yes, there's June in the kitchen. There's the letter that has arrived from the DVLA. Yes. Yes, there's a matter of detail there that I saw immediately, but slower time. Yeah. And June's watching the tennis, so what do we do now? I think what we do is we go into lounge, look on the website. There you go, that's the front page. Yeah, you click on the press page and go to the so-called DVLA Funny Farm page. I quite like their cartoons. There's a lot of information in those, and that's why I usually write the text that's in the picture for those that are using automatic translation software. And yeah, just a few frames to give you a flavour of what's been in detail on that page for some time. And that's the people who visit it. Not many, which is, all the more useful. You say, I wonder who that is. And could be anybody, of course, it's a public page. But anyhow, we'll see. Yes, that's the important cartoon to finish on, I think. So, yeah, tennis still going on. June's doing things in the kitchen. I go round here. Yes, like that's still processing, which is the video for the day before. Then I put a commentary on it. That's for the Thursday. This is for the Friday. Yeah, there's the tennis from China. And oh yes, email exchange with my friend. No harm in anybody seeing what it is if they're bothered to stop. And that's it. That's where the last visit was for tennis. But there's 2 games of tennis today. They'll be going back to the same place. And yeah, that was an email from well, a couple of people, but the guys with the drifter boats. That was yesterday's news. And yeah, checking that video, playing it, yeah, that worked out okay. Quite happy with that. And what else is there? There we go. This is only up until, well, it was middle of the afternoon. Yeah, that little frog had fallen down, so I put it back in the right place. It hadn't fallen down, it had been pushed down, I expect, by animals like cats or foxes. Yeah, just a record of all the overgrown grapes and things. Look up at the sky, lovely blue sky. And what else have we got? Yes, the untidy games room. Yeah, get round to that sometime. It's all a matter of priorities. You can see that was 3:05 in the afternoon. And yeah, there's Alex's robot boat. That bright idea from Russia years ago. Friends everywhere. And yeah, back out to Snoopy's robot boat, check voltages. And yeah, it's had a little bit of sunlight, so they've climbed up. Probably saw that in the summary at the very beginning. Yeah, just coming up to 3:10. And yeah, there's the sunlight hitting the boat, and of course not getting as much as it would because there's those trees and things in the way. Yeah, you would have seen that stuff in the introduction. So there's the women getting ready for their second game of tennis, I should think. Yeah, just a note in the time. So that's it. That's the end of the photo trail. Later on Friday the 4th of October 2024, starting first with a summary of the photos shot. And of course what appears here are the photos that weren't published on that Into October photo trail. Yes, I was pleased to see those visits from my mate Ted, and yes, armed with the weighted ball, off past the robot boat, down into the village and into the Comrades Club, where I forced myself to enjoy a 0% Peroni and chat with various guys and a game of pool at all. And then back home, yes, the tracker showed where I was. And yes, so that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos in the order they were shot. I like that. One of my mates, when he visits a page, it comes up pretty well the area he is. And yeah, off down to the village, and yes, into the Comrades Club, and people playing pool and chatting with guys, playing the odd game of pool, and thoroughly enjoyable. Yes, kids' Halloween disco is on. I think I might be a bit too old for that. And making my way home. Yes, don't know who knocked that post over. And into 22, past the robot boat outside on 24/7 test. Into the lounge. Yes, check the tracker. And yes, it showed Robin spending time at the Comrades Club and then quite a bit of time at home. And just here, put it on charge, and yes, make sure that is processing, which is the into October video that has been available before. So that's the end of that photo trail. Saturday the 7th of October 2024, starting with a summary of the photos shot. Yes, that's Toadie relaxing on June's lap while she's watching Pride and Prejudice, and that's the old original version. Oh yes, that leaflet came through the door, joined the others, but I thought, look on the closed circuit TV, here's the lady who dropped it in, googled up, looked at the site, yes, looks like that was Helen. And yeah, there's the words about Matt on his site, and checked out where I think he lives, or the guy with the same name seems to match it. Interesting. Coincidences, knowing somebody who lives right next door. Anyhow, yes, robot boat, looking on the closed circuit TV to see when it started and stopped, and a trip down to the Chobham Common Model Flyers at Tringham Hall, their AGM, and Samantha gave me a lift, and yeah, met some guys there, came away with some servo leads that'll also be useful for robot boats. Yes, WhatsApp chat going on with family at the same time, and yeah, there's the boat. This is when we get back. Samantha gave me the lift, and I thought, right, armed with a weighted cue ball, I'll take a walk down to the village and into the Comrades Club. There we go. And yeah, enjoy my 0% Peroni and the atmosphere. Carefully take a few snaps, including the guys around me chatting, playing pool. Yes, that weighted one came out, and I tried darts. I couldn't believe how bad I was. And this morning I realised that could have been the darts. I must check out the darts I got here at home. I haven't used them for decades. Right, so yeah, you see, coming up to 1 o'clock in the morning, late, so time for bed, and that's the end of that summary. So now in the photos, the order shot, looks like I rustled up some lunch, and yeah, checking various things, visits, and obviously there are emails exchanged and things with others, and of course the Chobham Common Model Flyers, and there's stuff about them on a couple of the pages on my website, all videos and pictures. June watching Pride and Prejudice and multitasking by playing a video game at the same time, Nanogram I think that is, and that leaflet comes through the door, yeah, an independent, and look on the closed circuit TV, saw the time it was posted, and yes, that's the person popping it in the door. That was at 14:49 GMT, and leaving, you get a look at the lady, and that was good, so that worked well. And then looking at their website, that lady, Helen, looked remarkably like her, and that was Matt. He mentioned his website, or their website, and I thought, no, you'd have to pay money to. The electoral roll used to be public, it's not now. June's still watching that. So I then looked at Company House. And yeah, there were 3 companies. You get these coincidences. I know a guy right next door to that address. And in fact, I did phone him, leave an answer phone message. But anyhow. Yeah, photos around the garden, just showing the snapshot of what it was like then. What I will mention is there are 3 companies selling vapes. It may be a bit politically incorrect to do now, but you could argue it's a good alternative to tobacco. I don't know. Let others decide that. There's the robot boat. Yes, checking voltages on left hand and right hand side, solar powered and combined, and at 5 o'clock that measurement was. So the photos record it, and then of course I can put it on paper. And that was when the boat stopped, looking at the closed circuit TV at 1800 GMT, which would be at 7 o'clock in the evening. And that was when it started the next morning. 08:44 I think that was, GMT of course. Right, so there's the blog, and yeah, phone calls. Yeah, a number of phone calls there with different guys, and Bruce and Terry, and yeah, they're still watching that. So now rustling up a quick food for Samantha, because June's got to take it easy. She did play tennis, I think, in the morning. She's still watching Pride and Prejudice, and Samantha's getting her food in the microwave, and she's going to give me a lift to the annual general meeting. Yes, I had a little snack, that was easy. And yes, multitasking, could see that the boat had stopped at that time. And so pretty well ready for the trip over, not that far from Chobham. Yeah, checking voltages, yeah, 7:10 when that was done. And put things back in the right place. Oh yeah, check that servo test rig. Testing a servo today is going. There's the stuff that June's been taking. Good thing is she's going to be seeing the doctor, I believe, tomorrow, and find out what it is. Hopefully just something minor. And now we're on the way. Oh, very blurred. And yeah, take a few photos carefully. Bought some servo leads cheap. Yeah, £2.50 for a pack of them. Cheaper than eBay. And there's David and sister Sally and daughter Saskia with Gary. Those were coming in at the same time as the chat and the actual proceedings at Trengwell Hall. So go back, and then June Samantha gives me a lift back through Sunninghill, and we decided to go straight back home rather than drop me off at the Comrades Club. Yes, they're watching something else now. And so that's where we've been. So another look on the tracker, because anybody interested could say, well, that's, if they were looking, they'd see live. Oh yes, he's at Tringham Hall, or his tracker is. And yeah, back home here. And that's where I'm going next, which is the Comrades Club, armed with that lead-weighted pool ball. So few people see these videos that I don't think I'm giving too much away. Put those servo leads back in the right place for the moment. So I'm off out, past Snoopy's robot boat, and down the road into the village, into the Comrades Club. Enjoy my 0% Peroni, and yes, Paul's going around me, and yeah, lots of guys of interest. It changes from day to day, but you find you're meeting new guys all the time, and of course guys you've got to know. And darts. Now there had been a darts match a day or two earlier, and I thought, I haven't tried darts for a while. Yes, there was some pool played, and I enjoyed that. Made a new friend or two there. And then I tried the dartboard, and I was complete rubbish. Now I'm wondering whether it was those darts. I could see they were a bit bent. Anyhow, yeah, 12:05. That was about kicking out time, I think. So yes, I'd seen that being knocked down on my walk back home. So down there drive, past the robot boat on 24/7 static test, into the lounge. Yes, there's the tracker. Put the ball back where I remember it by seeing it. Look on where my tracker shows. Yes, there Robin spent time at the Comrades Club before getting back home. Just here. Put the tracker on charge, and June's, make sure that's on charge as well. Yeah, there's the odd email going backwards and forwards. Oh, it's coming up to 1:45 in the morning. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 6th of October 2024, starting with a summary of the photo shot. Yes, that's an American double of Toadie. That's Toadie, our cat, and that was at the Comrades Club. Enjoyable time there. That comes near the end. Right, yes, robot boat is still being checked out. It's basically just getting the batteries charged up from the sunlight. Yeah, it's not running at the moment, which is fine. Fingers crossed it'll work out. Oh yes, conversation with somebody in Korea and related to one of the loggers. Yes, updates to the blog page, and back end of the day, take my food into the naughty corner, and yes, emails exchanged with friends, and yes, oh, those darts, where are they? Better order some more. All there were cobwebs in my darts cupboard. And yeah, Toadie's having some food. I'm taking my walk out past the robot boat sat outside, down into the village and the Comrades Club. Enjoy my time there. And yes, including playing pool and chatting with guys. And yeah, make my way back. Getting pretty late by then. And yeah, dustbins, oh yeah, they got to be put out. So I did that. And yeah, the tracker showed where I'd been, including getting back home. Put out peanuts on the top bridge. So, time for bed, and that's the end of the summary. So now in the photos, the order that they were shot. So yeah, looking at the boat, and yeah, I could see when it started or stopped on the closed circuit TV, but he says, yes, you look at the date, and remember times are in GMT, and that's when it stopped. And yeah, put things back in the right place for now. And yeah, check voltages, left hand, right hand, and combined voltage. Obviously very low, need to go up to nearer 6 volts or yeah, so that just says that it wasn't running at that time. There's Toadie, our cat. Put things back. Yeah, checking that test rig and charging up the battery for it, or batteries. So that test rig tests the servo to death, and it's still running. Checking voltages on probably a battery there. Yeah, there's the pond, very low. And yeah, job for the winter, as I keep saying. But you get information by leaving things like that. Yeah, a few snaps down the garden, not many. And round through into the lab. I was probably looking for bits and pieces at the time. Yes, those crocodile clips. I had a use for those. And those pictures are just a record of what the workshop area is like. But the crocodile clips, well, I had a bright idea. I might be able to trickle charge the flat batteries on the robot boat by connecting the battery to it on those monitor points. That was the bright idea. So I basically thought, right, well, give it a try. So I checked the voltages first, and then I made up a kind of a simple adapter lead using that 5 ohm resistor in series, and make sure it's switched off. So check in, including with it connected on, but yeah, fingers crossed it might work. So making a note of times and things, and of course I make a note of these details caught on the photo trail, so these photos are a very quick, easy way of keeping a record. Yeah, checking voltages again and switching the boat on. It was running then, but the voltage had dropped down quite a bit. So yeah, by 4:30. But Yes, now that I got you, that's the one which I haven't managed to get working, and I'm trying to get a conversation going with the guys that I bought it from. And the good thing is he did actually visit the relevant blog page, or one of his colleagues did. Well, we're seeing slower time who I'm talking with. Yeah, updates to the blog 11 page, and it looks a bit serious there, not sure why. Probably because I was dealing with a serious subject. Oh yeah, rain's trying to come on, and yeah, the voltage is really low after that bright idea, so could be that it created more problems than it solved. So I thought, no, just a record of the time I did it that goes in my notes and occasionally into the blog. Put that back with the other junk, some people call it, even if it's useful junk. Make a note of times of things stopping then. And June's watching historical drama, and I think it was. And yes, yeah, checking emails and things, and updating the blog, and also useful to know when somebody visited. So if you actually look, you can recognise, say, yeah, because so people visit, you say, oh yeah, that was Richard visiting, which matches up with him noticing an error that I had on there. Popped in the wrong date on one of the days. Oh yes, my darts. Basically triggered by me seeing how rubbish I was at throwing darts, and then I thought perhaps it was the darts down at the Comrade Club. So I ended up ordering some more on Amazon for delivery the next day, which should be today when I'm recording this. And yeah, so planning a walk down to the Comrades Club. Yeah, anybody could see me on the tracker. That's where it is. And so yeah, June's watching that stuff on the telly, and Samantha's, I think, rustling up coffee or something, and Toadie's having something to eat. So I'm off out past the robot boat, sat outside there, down the road into the village and into the Comrades Club. Enjoy my 0% Peroni, and yeah, a few things around, and of course a game of pool, either watching and chatting with people. And yes, that cat looked, he come in and oh, so funny. Yeah, so you're meeting new people all the time, and yeah, so back home. Yes, there's the boat still there. Oh, dustbins, yes, I better put them out. And yeah, back into the house. Hello, Toadie, prowling around. And oh yes, just check the tracker was still working. Yes, anybody could see, oh, Robin's spending time at the Comrades Club. And yes, looks as though he's managed to get home all right. Just here. Put it on charge. Check that. Oh yes, peanuts. Put some out, at least on the top bridge. And time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Monday the 7th of October 2024, starting with a summary of the photo shot. Yes, that's Toadie on guard duty, looking out of their front window. And later in the day, yeah, there's Bentley relaxing as he normally does on the road, keeping an eye on the robot boat. And that, of course, was one of the background activities through the day, checking voltages on the duplicated solar power and basically seeing how the boat manages. June's watching the television. Yes, we had some heavy rain showers, and yes, memories of Egypt. A few snaps around, and of course that's where all the peanuts are going. Those blooming pigeons, and the bright idea was one of those units that detects something and then plays a sound. We thought we'd see how it works, and yes, it seems to work. The question is, I don't want it to scare away the wildlife that's welcome. Back end of the day, dinner, and I decided to take a walk down into the village, past the robot boat, and down into the village, nice and dry it was, into the Comrades Club, enjoy my 0% Peroni and the atmosphere there, and those darts that I bought, put them together and gave them a try. Yes, it wasn't quite as good as that. I've discovered that it wasn't the darts, it was the rubbish, and the rubbish playing. And of course I had some games of pool as well with friends there. And yes, made my way back home. There's the robot boat, still running. There's where anybody could see my movement. So that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos in the order that I shot them, starting with the boat, and we had some nice sunshine. So that was working on the solar panels. So check the voltages on the left and the right and the combined power, and that was with it switched off. So then think, right, now we see that it might be charged up enough to switch on. And yes, dustbins. And also checked, yes, what's the voltage should be on a fully charged battery. So I checked those. And yes, recorded the commentary for the Sunday, like I'm doing now. And yeah, June's watching the telly from China, I think that is, Shanghai. And Toadie's having something to eat. And yes, phone call. Both with Paul, while leaving an answer phone message, and his mum. And yes, there's the pictures of Toadie looking out the front window, and there's the result of some rain. Had a shower of rain come through, and there's the boat from various directions. And yeah, June's watching the tennis. Yeah, there's the rain landing on the roof. Yes, and we've got vegetation going across that glass roof light. Yes, that's been there a few years since my trips to Egypt in the early 80s. Just a few snaps around the house. Yes, pictures there. Into the lounge. And oh yes, conversation going on the Pickaxe forum. Fingers crossed I might get some useful information. And I ordered those GPS trackers that seem very cheap. Thought give that a try. Listen to the Radio 4 news, obviously serious stuff at the moment. And on the closed circuit TV I could see, yes, that's where all the peanuts are going. Masses of pigeons eating them. So the bright idea, I already had those, and I already had one painted black so it didn't show up so much, with something like oh yes, ring the doorbell or knock on the front door and read the signs if you wish. Just something I'd recorded in it some time ago, but probably I put something much simpler, like or something which would be enough to scare a bird but not a mouse. And there's, right, now as we're seeing the effect of that sound on birds, so there's a little robin that's come down. Yes, and he heard the sound and flew off. So yeah, it was working. And there's Samantha. Yeah, same thing triggers it. And there's another bird. That I think is a nuthatch. I think so. Same thing. Comes down for the nuts. And then again it triggers. And now that looks like I think that's a magpie. Same thing, flies off. So it's doing the job well of scaring the birds, but I don't want it to scare the other things. I know, yes, he's saying, no, make sure you put some peanuts for the birds in the bird feeders and use the opportunity to put them outside as well. So yeah, snap of the ponds. And there's the bird feeder on the roof, so I put some peanuts on that. There's the very untidy spare bedroom, or whatever you call it. Yes, well, no to blame for that. Certainly not Robin. And yeah, a few snaps around the garden. Nothing new there. Yes, that bird feeder needs something in it, so I put a few peanuts in that. And yes, lots of grass growing now. Easy job that is, but well, it's a matter of priorities. You do what's more important or more urgent. Look at the sky, yes. Ah, yes, and I suddenly thought, there's that bird feed there. So I put some piles of that in as well, even though most creatures seem to prefer peanuts to that white feed. Yeah, put that back in the right place for the moment. Yes, that's the test rig testing a servo to death. So put a battery on charge there after swapping batteries. Yes, that's Alex's sailing saucer. Yeah, June's still watching the tennis. And looks like a closed circuit TV check there for the night before. Yes, there's a nervous fox coming. This is before I put that little device in to scare things, and I hope it won't scare the foxes, but it shows those visits then. And the top bridge. And there they are on the porch. Yes, those are quite confident, those. Relaxing while they wait their turn to go and have some peanuts. Oh, look at myself in the mirror. And yeah, so that was through to 06:03 GMT when the camera switched to colour for the day. So now running back from midnight, there's a fox on the top bridge just out the back. There's one at the front on the porch. There's me going out to put the peanuts, I expect. And there's me probably getting back from the Comrades Club. Oh, there's a little mouse. There you go. On the front porch. And there he is again. Bit blurred because he keeps moving, but at least you recognise what it is. There's me going off to the Comrades Club. Don't forget we're running backwards through time on this. There's me working on the robot boat. And the camera switched at 17:29 GMT to black and white for the night. So that's that done. June's still watching the tennis from Shanghai. Yeah, looks like I'm going to check the voltages on the boat. Yeah, so 5.32 combined, 5.34 left hand, 5 point there. What you can see it, stop the frame at that time. Coming up to wherever that was, and yeah, working well. And checking again. And yeah, that seems fine. Fingers crossed. We'll see how long it lasts. So, and of course all these details get put into the so-called blog 11 of the work we're doing on the boat. There's a few snaps of the front, including that oak tree that's providing a little bit too much shade, but yeah, put things back in the right place for the moment. That seems to be running, which is the test rig for the servo. And looks like I'm doing an update to the blog 11, and check visitors. Oh yes, posted on the Pickaxe forum, and that looks good. I got a good reply there. And there's Bentley across the road relaxing. Of course, as soon as you come over, he seems to want to play. Back down to the boat. Yeah, looking at the time, coming up to 4:30 in the afternoon. British Soccer Time. Voltages, left and right and combined power, 5.02 volts, looking good. And listening to the Radio 4 news, again serious news. Looks like Toadie's joined me there as well. Oh yes, Comrades Club, looked on their Facebook page, and I think I tried a posting. Looks like something's arrived. I wonder what that is. Oh yes, me darts. And yes, because the old ones, I couldn't find them amongst all that junk, and the one that's stuck in the ball has got loads of cobwebs over it. Smack this off to tennis. June's not quite up for playing tennis at the moment. Hopefully she's going to be feeling better, especially after seeing a doctor. And yeah, I noticed that PIR light, don't know why, but it was flashing all the time. So yeah, lots of things all going on at the same time. That looks like a courier delivering something. Might have been those darts, and it was funny seeing his reaction when that PIR sound went off just as he was returning. Yes, that was what did it, but it was a few seconds before because it was a quick visit to the port, so that worked well. That's the light that keeps flashing. I don't know what the problem was with that. I thought, yeah. Anyhow, those are the things. The dart set, yeah, amount of putting things. I did a few checks like the voltage and things, which seemed all right, but of course, in slower time, I'm going to have to find the instructions for that. Might just be as simple as what button sequences to press. June's rustled up some food in the microwave, I think. And oh yes, that was from Richard. Halloween thing he sent. No, I think I've got enough Halloween stuff. Right, that's where I'm about to walk down to, the Comrades Club. Taking with me in my pocket the darts set, which I've got to assemble before I can use any or test any. So now take on my walk down towards the village, nice and dry, or sufficiently dry, into the Comrades Club. Yes, enjoy my 0% Peroni. Yeah, there's the darts board. Although that was probably the darts on the TV. They had a match on, and of course that was reminding me of what the rules were. I'd forgotten those. You know, the idea of starting on 501. I had a little while trying out a dart I'd managed to assemble as best I could, and I decided no, it's because I am rubbish. I saw that recruiting darts players or people for the club. Yeah, so a few more snaps around, not many. That was on the TV. Yeah, it looks like a Dutchman versus a German. Yeah, had a game or two of pool, and then walked back out of the village, back into our place, past the robot boat, and into the house, into the lounge. Yes, that's, anybody could see where I was. There's June watching, I think that's a historical drama on the TV. Yeah, so yes, I'm now checking the tracker just to confirm. Anybody interested could say, oh, looks like Robin spent time at the Comrades Club, and then got back home. Yes, there we are, at number 22, just here. I looked at the rain radar, looks like some heavy rain showers coming through. Put the tracker on charge. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 8th of October 2024, with a summary of the photo shot that day. Yes, started with Bentley prowling around, and I discovered, yes, famous people with autism, not just the obvious people like Albert Einstein, and I realised the relevance to things like the blog about the robot boat work, where we're seeking for people to help. And of course that was one of the activities going on in the background, checking in the voltages on left and right and combined solar power systems and the time of that. Those notes all go into the block. Yes, in the games room was Toadie prowling around, and of course there's robot boat stuff there, which is keeping the place cluttered. And it's coming up to midday, and Stuart arrives to be chauffeur, because I've not been able to do that for the last year or two, to the Red Lion this time. Enjoyed the food, and of course more importantly the conversations and the atmosphere with the people around us. So back home anybody could see where Robin was, or at least his tracker. Yeah, he's spending time at the Red Lion, it's lunchtime, perhaps he's having lunch. And then back home, a few things to check, and then joined them again for coffee, and took some things over for chatting about, related to radio control boats. And yeah, Richard suggested some notes for June related to her medical condition. And back end of the day, yes, had food in the naughty corner, looked at the rain radar, better to take a brolly, because I'm going to take a walk down to the Comrades Club. And I was lucky, as it happened with the rain, into the Comrades Club, had a few games of pool and chatted to guys there before making my way home. Quite late then. Past the robot boat, still sat outside on 24/7 test, into the house. Listen to the Radio 4 news, which of course is very serious. Time for bed, and that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos in the order that I shot. Yes, when I googled famous people with autism, yeah, I found a very useful, yeah, I just saved that as an image, but those links to more information on those individuals was obviously of use. Yes, June's watching the tennis, I think that is. I'm processing and then putting the commentary later onto the video from the day before. So I take out the meter. Oh yes, that's the idea being checked. Oh, there we had some rain, so yes, to the robot boat and check the voltages. So left and right and combined voltages, and the time coming up to 11:45. That looks good. So those were noted, and so I just had time to do that. Yes, notice the sun being shaded by the oak tree, so it's quite a tough test. So back into the house, put things back in the untidy games room. There's Toadie. Hello Toadie, relaxing there, keeping an eye on things, I suppose. Yeah, look out around the garden, just a few snaps there. Yes, the pond hasn't filled up much due to that showered rain we had, or showers. Just a few snaps around there. Yes, there's the telescope. And down the end, it's all overgrown, but it's all a matter of priorities. So yes, and there's the sundial, seems to be giving the right information. Coming up now, only 7 minutes to 12. And so just got those photos taken because I had to get back. Yes, there's the grass all growing. Easy job that. Yes, there's the fennel, wild fennel from Sicily. Lovely flavour in that is for pasta con sard, pasta with sardines. Yes, everything overgrown. There's Toadie again. Yes, looking after things in the games room. Yes, looking out the window, probably for wildlife, including birds coming for bird feed and things. So back into the lounge. Yes, coming up to 12 o'clock midday. British summertime, that is. And yes, there's the stuff that's going to be put up. Now I'm just relaxing there waiting. Yeah, coming up to midday, and sure enough, Richard Stewart arrives on time. And on time is the wrong word really. Anyhow, so he gives Richard and I a lift to Lightwater, and to the Red Lion. Several reasons why we haven't been there for a while, or at least as a group of us. So there we are, met up with Terry and Richard opposite. Food, and the key thing is the atmosphere and the people there, because obviously we had some interesting chats when we arrived before we sat down to eat. So now back home through Windlesham, and where else? Oh yes, the half moon, I think that was, and the bee, so, and the windmill, and into Berkshire, where the filming had been done, past the Berestead opposite, and into Armitage Court, and Richard's place. Then I go down to do various things like check emails that have come in and any other things that I can do within a few minutes before joining them for coffee. Yes, so there you go. That bit of rain we had, I mean, that's job to be done. Yes, that is keeping things away. We need to check that. So June's still relaxing with the tennis on, and yes, the ponds. That's just a quick, yeah, just gives you a flavour of the weather. Only takes a minute or two. Yes, there's the information there. Oh, that's a video that has been processed while we're away, and so that's ready. Just check, yeah, the tracker, and yeah, that shows their trip down to Lightwater. Anybody interested would have seen it live. And there's time spent at the Red Lion before making their way back home into Armitage Court. And there's the details on the tracker with the exact address just here. And yeah, put the meter, oh no, take the meter out to measure the voltage on the boat. There we go. So 5.06 left, 5.09 right, and combined 4.84, and the time there. So made a note of that. Put the meter back, check that one. That's the test rig testing a servo to death, and of course incidentally also checking batteries. And so that was one battery was put on charge. June's watching the tennis still, so now I could go back up to join the others for coffee and biscuits, etc. Yeah, they are, record of the time. And then I popped back during the conversation and picked up the 5-cell pack that I thought Richard might have an interest, and he also put down some bright ideas, and it was a good idea. And yeah, so that was about the only pictures I took there. Coming back, that was Bentley prowling around. Yeah, there's the boat. There's June watching something, and there's the note that Richard gave that she said that might be useful to her. And yeah, that's all running okay. That puddle was gradually soaked away a bit. It still needs to be unblocked, but it's just on the long list of work to do, all under the heading of property maintenance. There's some more checks on the boat voltages and the time. So, and that looks as though that implies it's getting very low in terms of the voltages, so we can expect it will stop in time. And yeah, it looks like that processing has been done. Coming up to 6 o'clock in the evening, listening to the Radio 4 news, putting a commentary on the Monday, the day before, video photo trail, and updating the blog with that information about famous people with autism, and check the visitors to the page. Yeah, interesting. And then being called for dinner, so I go in, pick up my plate, heat it up, and take it into the water corner, and yeah, check the time that the boat stopped, 16:54 GMT. And of course that was something to go in the blog with that other information about people with autism. Looked at the rain radars, different sources, all a matter of how you use those sources of guessing when you're going to get rain. And then picked up things like my pack of darts and an umbrella, because it looked as though there was definitely a possibility of rain, and take my walk down through the village. Yes, there was no big problem of rain at all. Roads are wet. Into the Comrades Club, enjoyed several games of pool with Alex, that was, and of course there's he and others that you chat to. So then make my way back home, getting pretty late then, and yes, past the boat, there solar light is on, and yeah, probably checked that the tracker was working. A bit crude, that one, but people might have guessed where I was. Yeah, I was checking who'd visited, listening to the Radio 4 news again, put the pendant tracker back on charge, time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Wednesday the 9th of October 2024, starting with a summary of the photo shot that day. And yes, June had an x-ray at Heatherwood Hospital, and yes, I noticed that arm was missing. So I've been a detective work on the closed circuit TV. Ah yes, there it is, a fox taking it away. So better check that out. Yes, there it is. And of course, look at all that overgrown stuff all trampled down. So put it back where it belongs. Put the peanuts and bird feed around it. Also topped up that bird feeder, and that's the little gadget. Yes, and put the commentary on for the day before, as I am for today, or that day. And yes, there's the robot boat. So checking voltages and doing tests on it. Yes, untidy room. Yes, some phone conversations. Helping guys where you can. Oh yes, so yeah, an updated one of the web pages, and decided what I'm going to do about that letter from the DVLA. And I decided, well, one of the first things I can do is update the appropriate page that's public. And yeah, June's rustled up dinner, had a chat and gave some advice to Paul, I think that was. And yes, so where are we next? Yes, got to take that walk, get a bit of exercise, go into the Comrades Club and enjoy the atmosphere there. And they had a darts match on, and I got some good advice on what to do about assembling those darts that I bought. Very simple when I was shown, and it took a moment. Yes, enjoyed my time there with a 0% Peroni, and the Wi-Fi worked for the first time in years for me. And right, made my way back home, and yeah, showed June the darts. And also the tracker was working, so anybody could see where I'd spent my time. And got back here, just here, and June's watching the telly. Anyhow, time for bed. So that's the end of the summary. Now the photos in the order they were shot, starting with, yeah, what's pinched that arm that was out there? Oh yes, lovely grapes coming along. Closed circuit TV showed very clearly at 03:05 GMT, in other words 4:05 in the morning, that fox had visited, and a little bit later taking it away. So the answer is, go back and check out if it is just a short distance away. So along the pond, there it is. Yes, I noticed also how those reeds had been trampled down, and I'm assuming that is probably foxes that have been doing that. Of course, it's all overgrown, so I used the opportunity to take a few snaps. I was getting snagged by brambles and creeper and things. Anyhow, so those snaps are just showing all that garden maintenance that is needed, but that's the easy stuff in our house, or on air property. Yeah, so there's a few snaps around there, just basically a snapshot on that day. Not a lot. The earlier photo trails from a few days ago would have shown it in more detail. Yeah, so put the art back where it belongs, and I noticed that looked like the thumb was missing. So that's around somewhere. Perhaps the answer is to buy another one of those things, or find the thumb and glue it on. Yes, that's the peanut feeder, and that little gadget there, I need to change the sound recorded on it, because it's intended to scare away birds. Yeah, not the wise robins, that's on the back porch, but allow foxes. And yes, recording the commentary for the day before, the Tuesday. And yes, June's watching the tennis from Shanghai, China. And yes, trip to hospital, fingers crossed that the results of that x-ray will be good. Also hoping for a blood test, but she hasn't booked that yet. And yeah, that shows me when the boat either started or stopped. That's all information that can be useful for some people helping me. Checking voltages, like the left hand side, right hand side, and combined voltage from the duplicated solar system and the time that the measurement was taken. So that's the photographs, a quick convenient way of recording it. Put things back in the games room. Yes, it's very untidy. Now that test rig, testing a servo to death, the battery had gone flat, so put one on charge and put that on. June's still watching the tennis. I think I had a phone call. That might have been Belle. And I had one from Paul. And yeah, so chat, and then they're off. That's for yeah, I think I was still on the phone when they were off for June to get her x-ray. And there's Bentley prowling around, protecting the property, of course. Yeah, the tracker shows that they got to the hospital okay. Anybody could see those trackers, and of course we may be carrying them. And yeah, just checking that's working. And that hospital is certainly better. And coming on, oh yes, look at all those pigeons nicking the peanuts, and all the pussycat does is watch until I open up. Ah, right, looks like they're on their way back, and I'm enjoying a cornetto. And yes, anybody could see, oh, looks like they're on their way back from hospital, coming through South Ascot. And yeah, not far away, that's where we are. And of course, by the time I get out there, they've arrived. Yes, all went well. I've heard the details, what happened. And June's now watching something on the telly. I'm updating some pages, including blog 11, the details of the robot boat, and put up some stuff there. Took a look at the letter from the DVLA that in slower time I explained publicly there what I intend to do. And yes, some of those cartoons are amusing but very true, it seems. Yes, we'll see what happens next. Right, oh yes, I printed out a copy of the updated DVLA page, and don't trust computers completely, and that's filed to be dealt with. And of course lots of other things happening, and yes, that's the details of when the boat started and when it stopped. Those times are noted down, because if I put those things up, some people, it can help with them with what they're doing. That's June's conversation. I think that was with Paul, but I can't be sure. And oh yes, thinking about the Comrades Club, take my weighted cue ball and of course the darts, because I hadn't found out how to assemble them properly, and it's many years since I played darts, and I thought, right, well, it starts having some that are in a reasonable condition. There was darts on the television, as well as the guys playing a darts match. One showed me, oh, it only took him seconds. Oh, that's what you got to do. I didn't realise it's so simple when he showed me. So I enjoyed my time there. Got to be careful where you take photos, of course. Well, not where, but what you take the photos of. And yes, I noticed that, yeah, there are darts on the television there, and I noticed the Wi-Fi was working. So that one, but first time it worked for me in there, so I don't know, might be my phone, don't know what it is. Anyhow, making my way back home. Yeah, it's quite pleasant weather, and yes, past the robot boat, sat there with its solar lights come on, and yeah, June's watching that historical drama, I think it is. Put the bits and pieces down where I won't forget them. Check my tracker. Yes, anybody could see, yes, I'd spent some time in the Comrades Club, and then back home. Yes, that's it, number 22, just here. And Yeah, so time for bed. That's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 10th of October 2024, starting with a summary of the photos shot. And in fact, the photos only last up until about, what it was, 5:30 in the afternoon, because the processing of the video I wanted this to go into. Anyhow, it involved working on the robot boat, if you call it work, and of course the cats were prowling around. There's Bentley coming down the drive and recording the commentary for the day before, Wednesday, as opposed to today, the Thursday, and updated the blog 11 page. Yes, there's Bentley on guard duty looking out. Yes, you'll find quite a few pictures of the cats. There they are relaxing in the road. And yeah, there's a squirrel on the closed circuit TV. And yes, that was good. The visit by the guy to check the gas levels meter. And yes, and that reminded me to go out and check the car, and sure enough it didn't start, and so I have to put it on charge, which is a fairly simple routine job, and leave that for a while, and it'll be fine, and then I can start it again. Just remember to start it every few days. There's Toadie watching what I was doing. Junior watching a historical drama, and getting late. Yeah, 5:15. So that's the end of the summary. So now all the photos, starting with that fierce pussycat Toadie checking the boat, and there's Bentley, the senior guard cat who trains Toadie, and yeah, they're sort of patrolling around while I'm checking things like the boat. Hello, Toadie. It's obviously dropped low because it had stopped, and that's all explained in detail on blog 11. There's Toadie taking an interest in what I was doing with the boat, and here's Bentley coming down the drive, and they decided, we're going to have a bit of play fighting or something. You never know what they're up to. Yeah, so I haven't actually trained them in working on the boat yet, but all things are possible. Hello, Bentley. So Bentley decided to come in. I think he decided he might have something to eat, and yes, that triggered, and you probably would have seen that in the summary. It played a sound out, and he was saying, what's that? Didn't worry him, but he was curious. And yes, if you saw the summary, you see that I've got to change that recording to something shorter that doesn't frighten away the larger animals, just birds, so they're not in danger. Yeah, that's processing of a video. Putting the sound on it, yes, for Wednesday. And yeah, looking on the closed circuit TV, listening to the Radio 4 News, which obviously is pretty serious stuff these days. Oh yes, checking that was when the boat stopped working at that time in GMT, so able to make note of those times, and made a note of it, and that's reflected in the blog 11 details. It's just how I gathered the information in the most convenient way. I wasn't going to sit there all night watching the boat. It would take a long time. Right, there's blog 11, so I'm updating that little picture of the servo and a few words, and of course those measurements of times of when the boat stopped and started. There's Bentley looking out the front window with the warning signs that you would have seen, and hello, Bentley. And then he's off prowling. I think he saw the sun come out and he thought, I'll do a bit of sunbathing in the road. And he's been training Toadie and everything. I don't mind so much when it's training in guarding the premises and things, but he got him to lay in the middle of the road sunbathing. And yeah, there he is, look. And it wasn't long, and Samantha was coming back. Yeah, there she is, coming back, and of course you can see her laughing. She should have run over him. And yeah, so he's still looking around. Yes, Samantha comes in, and of course when you go over to them, they often think you want to play. So Samantha comes in, and they're looking at things like, oh, it looks like tennis now. Right, that was the lots of things all going on at the same time. Yes, there's a squirrel on the closed circuit TV. I went to the closed circuit TV for a different reason, and then I saw the wildlife. And of course there was the visit earlier from the guy checking the gas meter, and yeah, I don't believe in smart meters unnecessarily, and so that was good. Oh yes, and as I said, that was Coast reminded me, and the car didn't start, so easy job, plug in the charger that was already sat on the car ready and put it on charge. Had a quick look, and used the opportunity to show all the junk in the garage, and of course some of that stuff has got value, you know, could be thrown away. No, not quite that way, given away, or put in the right place, and some stuff obviously has to be thrown. But just a record of the junk. A little while since I took a photo trail of that. Yes, what do you do? Well, it's pretty clear. Yes, Tony's watching all this, of course. In fact, I haven't got the photos, they didn't come out, but he went into the garage and prowled around, and I thought I'd taken 3 photos of him on top of the engine. Anyhow, we're at the end now, 5:15 of this photo trail. I warned you they will be long photo trails. So back into the house, we're going to drop into material that was shot some time ago, which is on 2 subjects: global warming and the prophetic words of James Lovelock, and my experiences with the DVLA, the Driver Vehicle Licensing Agency. I shouldn't joke about it, but looks like the women are about to leave. Yes, they are. So, yeah, you've got your little tracker with you, have you, dear?
Yeah.
Somewhere there?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And they're about to go off. So, again, you respond to whatever's happening at the time. Some of my friends have gotten interested in filmmaking. I'm completely rubbish at it, as I am with photography. That's a little patch, which again is in the category of work to be done. You see all that's falling apart here. Quite a lot of property we've got here. It's just a case of using it properly. Right, so they're off.
Yes.
So you're going in Samantha's car then, are you? Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you seen the pussycat?
No.
No, okay. Right, not to worry. He came in, went out again. He's not in his fort. Yeah. Okay, not to worry. Okay. So where were we? Oh, good, they left the door open. Right, we're now going to run into that material that was shot whenever it was, 18 months ago, which was on those 2 subjects: global warming and my experiences with the Driver Vehicle Licensing Agency. And I think that material, yes, I always point that out, sorry, that's the expensive Renoir that we've got, and that's the little pocket camera is what I've been using. So I think that earlier material started at about here. Now what I put on the screen, because global warming is rare in itself, it's something that's been on my grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert, shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels, to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelock said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet, because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop Loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise. We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes. That was back in 2012. The guy that put this material together, including live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worry for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. All unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request, but when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money. And there are probably other things as well. But as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded. We've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday. That'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me wittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge and out to wrap up this video by saying, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we have. Yes, it's now middle of March 2024, and the font's changed quite a bit. I'll have to change the copyright statement at the end, but the message is the same. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy life while we can. Oh yeah, my hair's grown a bit since then.